Welcome to the Nevis Newscast for Tuesday, January 9th, 2018. I'm Donis Wilkinson-Keynes. Budget estimates discussions for the Nevis Island administration began today and are expected to continue over the course of the next 3 days. Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley is the Minister of Finance.
Each year, the government, of course, has to plan the expenditure for the ensuing year. And, of course, we have to see how we're going to pay for all the goods and services that the government supplies, how we're going to pay wages and salaries, as the case may be. And so this budget exercise is very important. It does happen annually. This year, it's a little late. And just so that the public understands, it's because, of course, we had an election. And now that the election is over, we have to go into this process.
The Premier says he hopes that the process can be completed in a timely manner so that the Nevis Island Assembly's 2018 budget session can be held shortly.
The process is one of give and take. I think the ministries and the ministers come, they want certain positions created, they want capital projects done, etc. And I think the good people at Finance keep us all in check and let us know what is realistic and what is not so realistic. We have a 5-year mandate, and so I want the public to understand that there's not any expectation on our part that everything that we've committed to do will happen in the first year. We have to be sensible and we have to conduct ourselves in a prudent manner. The people have entrusted us with the management of the public purse, and we have to do that in a fiscally prudent and sensible way. That is the way that we propose to approach this.
Making an input in the discussions are permanent secretaries as well as budget analysts and economists. Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, is appealing to public servants to be more responsible with regard to the use of government-owned vehicles. According to Premier Brantley, the matter has become one of concern to the public.
Some people apparently you give them a key to a vehicle and some switch go off in the head, this now belongs to me. And you know they're easy to recognize now, all them mark G. So when I see government vehicles with a big G parked up in places off hours, outside hours where they're not supposed to be, that is a matter that the public is concerned about.
Premier Brantley, who recently addressed the matter at a meeting with the senior civil servants, referred to it as a question of liability.
What if off hours, after hours, you're out, you're having your drinks, you're partying, and the vehicle crashes? What happens? You come now to the government and you say, well, it's a government vehicle, so the government is responsible. We have asked, and I believe the first act I did as Premier was to send out something saying that we want government vehicles to be parked up in the government compounds at the end of the workday. Unless heads or permanent secretaries say that this is an essential vehicle or that they give permission for you to have a government vehicle outside working hours, for those who don't need it, we ask them to be parked and we intend to enforce it. I'm told in the past, people tried to do it and after a month they went back to normal. And I'm saying that you will have your role to play as well to ensure compliance.
Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley. In more local news,
because I want the government to be seen as an entity where any professional who wants to get into an area where they can showcase what they're made up of can look towards government, not just for pay, but to uplift themselves or to uplift others around them to make them even better and to make the island of Nevis better.
Deputy Premier, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, was delivering remarks at a recently held meeting with senior civil servants. The Deputy Premier said the Cabinet of the Nevis Island Administration and the civil servants have a duty to uphold a standard that Nevisians can be proud of.
I talk about Nevis with some degree of passion, because all of us inside here, I believe, love Nevis just as the other person. I want to say to you, though, I love Nevis more than all of you. Every one of you. Well, we can have a debate about that and it would be a back and forth. Who love it more than the other? I say that to say this. This island belongs to all of us. We are not doing anything here this afternoon that is political in any way. I didn't come here for that. I come here this afternoon to make sure that we understand moving forward what is expected of all of us. And we all understand that when it's all said and done, you have a duty to play in ensuring that what we leave behind or what we sell to the public or present to the public is wholesome and of a standard that the whole of Nevis can be proud of.
The purpose of the meeting was to discuss a way forward for the civil service. The meeting was held at the St. Paul's Anglican Church Hall on Thursday, January 4th, 2018. Still to come.
Cervical cancer is one of the more prevalent cancers here in the Federation.
We'll give you the details after this break.
As a fisherman, I use the marine resource wisely so I can conserve our biodiversity. So I can fish for life. It's all about balance.
I preserve biodiversity by the way that I farm. It takes care of my family. It's all about balance.
I have enjoyed these seas all my life. I do my best to conserve our biodiversity because I want my children and my grandchildren to enjoy them as much as I do. It's all about balance.
I'm a park ranger, and my job is to properly manage our protected areas and conserve our biodiversity. It's all about balance.
Youth, let's play a part in conserving our biodiversity and maintaining our natural resources. It's all about balance.
For life, for livelihood, for the future of St. Kitts and Nevis, let's all conserve our biodiversity and use our natural resources wisely. It's all about balance.
Taxes are the lifeblood of a nation. Feel good about what your tax dollars do in Nevis. As a responsible citizen, your tax dollars protect our environment. Pay your taxes on time. This message was brought to you by the Inland Revenue Department, Nevis.
Be a responsible citizen.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Health and Gender Affairs, as well as its non-governmental health partners, on Monday, January 8th, benefited from a presentation on cervical cancer prevention and control. Cervical Cancer Awareness Month is celebrated in January.
Cervical cancer is one of the more prevalent cancers here in the Federation. One of the leading causes of morbidity and mortality, sickness and death related to cancer here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and also around the world. Today we partner with University of Virginia once again. This is about our 10th year of partnership on a number of initiatives. So we have groups 3 times a year, and this particular group is the January term group, where we focus on health and disasters. We also have a team that comes in May and in June. So this is one of our strongest academic partners. And of course, we continue to thank them and praise them for imparting knowledge and also training our various students at the sixth form and the CFPC level here on St. Kitts and Nevis in the area of health research. We've also had the opportunity to partner with University of Virginia on various research publications, and we thank them as well.
The educational and informative session, attended by representatives of Nevis Maternal Health Fund and Pink Lily Cancer Care, was facilitated by Dr. Wendy Conn, Associate Professor of Public Health Sciences at the University of Virginia.
I'm going to talk about cervical cancer prevention and control. I'm going to talk a little bit about the cancer burden overall in the world, just so that we can then kind of settle on cervical cancer and see how that burden relates to the overall burden. And then we'll talk a little bit about cervical cancer, what is it anyway, and how do we get it, and what's the kind of natural history of cervical cancer. And then importantly, we'll move to the prevention of cervical cancer, which is I think the most valuable part of what we're going to do today, because cervical cancer is preventable.
Dr. Khan and a contingent of students from University of Virginia are visiting the Federation and working with the Ministries of Health on St. Kitts and Nevis to explore pressing healthcare issues, including cervical cancer, and to determine an effective way to advocate for cervical cancer prevention. And finally, a statement issued on Monday, January 8th by the St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service says it has come to the attention of the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, that a fake Facebook account is appropriating his image and name to prey on well-meaning individuals and lure them into bogus schemes. Prime Minister Harris roundly condemns such fraudulent actions, and his communications team has alerted Facebook as well as the Royal St. Christopher and the Nevis Police Force in an attempt to identify and bring the perpetrator or perpetrators to justice. The Prime Minister said on Monday that he cherishes the opportunity to engage in direct dialogue with the public, so it is disappointing and disheartening that illicit actors are stopping at nothing to make a financial gain by impersonating him and other public officials. Please be aware of these online scams. If something doesn't look or feel right, please report it to the relevant authorities. Prime Minister Harris's Facebook page is www.facebook.com/PMHarrisKN/ and his Twitter page is twitter.com/PMHarrisKN. The Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis's Facebook page can be easily identified. Facebook has verified the page with a white check mark contained in a blue circle right next to the Honorable Prime Minister's name, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, which appears just above at PM Harris KN. Please report all other accounts which are said to belong to Prime Minister Harris to Facebook and Twitter. In addition to the steps outlined above, contact the Press Secretary at pmpress@gov.kn to report an account that is being falsely operated under the name of Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, thank you for viewing.
Hello, my name is Culturama, the Caribbean's greatest summer line. Most islands have their festival annually, but they call it Carnival. With all those shows, we fete and fun. We party from sun up to sundown. Everybody come now, show the world what we mean.